The great show for you guys tonight. Can't wait to begin. We'll start in about 2-3 minutes. So. Take your seats. Have fun. Anyway, happy Valentine's Day. One day, but still, it counts. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Oh, wait. Hello, Trevor. How's it going? Welcome. Who do we have there? Toe. Hello, welcome. Joe's gonna start in a couple of minutes. Take a seat, please.
Hi, Paula.
Is everybody going all the way there? Something going on here? How's everybody's day going? You guys having fun? Are you excited? We have a great show for you. Give me some hearts if you're excited, like me. Yeah, Sasha is with me. Sasha's with me. Let's see. That is Lacey right there. Trapper, welcome aboard. Cool, cool. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Great guests and everything. Real guests. Pretty late for them, but you know, very kind enough to connect with us. Awesome. It's gonna be lovely. Let's put it that way. All right, everyone. I believe we are there. Right, well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This is truly an honor to have you here. So happy and excited, like I said. This is that time of the week that we warm up our hearts. It's what I'm gonna ask your host to come out very, very soon. Let's begin. All right, welcome everyone to the Tonight Show Starring Sherwin. I'm your DJ Vaditron. Please give me some hearts. Let's get out and some hosts out. Come on out, Sherwin.
Yo, yo, yo. Sasha in the building. What up, Sasha? Beta, what's good? Fine chick, Sasha Day. What is good? Ron, Kitchen, Lazy Beauty. The beautiful Molly in the building. Captain Molly, everybody. Hey. What is up? What is up? Yes. That's me. What up, everybody? I love how everybody's congregated to this side of the studio tonight. I don't know what it is about this side, but I guess they just want to be a little bit closer to me. up and personal. I don't mind it. I like it. I don't mind it, you guys. What's up, everybody? What's up, Bad? How you doing tonight?
I'm so well. I was wondering about the same thing. I went down there and checked the, seats and everything. Are they wet? Is there something going on? It's like, no, everything is good. But yeah, you got it. They want to be closer to you. I don't mind that. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them.
No, and we got a main crew. They're cleaning the seats. Trust me, they are clean. Okay, you don't got to
Oh
worry
yeah.
about here in the metaverse. Now, I want to welcome you guys to another great episode here at the Tonight Show. Now, let's get right into it. We've got a great episode planned for you guys tonight, and I want to first start off with hearing about your weekend, Dad, because I know you had a very eventful weekend. So tell me about it.
Yeah, so much going on, so many things happen and everything, but I had to pick one that really meant a lot to me. It was my buddy's birthday. That is Trevor, right? Kronk's Kitchen. Right over there in the corner, the handsome boy over there, my
Happy
man. Happy
birthday.
birthday, Kronks. And yeah, we had lots of fun. It was so good. And thanks shout out to Blue for making the world available. That was such a personal touch. And love you, Blue. The best. Well, yeah, we had
Oh,
lots of fun. How about
it's
you? What you do?
amazing.
You were so much more busier than I
Yes.
was. Cool.
Well, you know what? I got to start off with, first of all, giving a shout out to last week's episode because for those of you who weren't there, we had the iconic Miss Laura Hayes here at the Tonight Show, you guys. I mean, she's a Grammy nominated comedian. I mean, just to have her be here in the metaverse and on the Tonight Show was an incredible honor. So I just got to give a shout out to everybody who supported us. And, it's a lot of pressure. Trust and believe. I was nervous, but I'm so happy with the support of the community that we have here. I really couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you to everybody here in the audience, the team. Y'all did an amazing job last week. So thank you so much. Yes, give it up for them, guys. Now, speaking of my weekend, now, we started off with Power Hour. I always got to give a shout out to Power Hour. Sasha's in the building. I know she's at Power Hour every week. I got to give a shout out to them because they do this every single week. I mean, they seriously haven't missed a week. And I'm like wondering, like, dang, like, they making me look like an amateur because you guys know I do weekly events, but like they've been doing this for longer, so they just keep going. Same with Molly. Like, you guys have been like going strong. And so, I mean, all praise to you guys. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job in this space, keeping the events alive, doing your thing. Shout out to Soul G. Shout out to Flashy, the host of Power Hour. They did a phenomenal job as always. So y'all make sure you check it out every Friday, okay, at 10 p.m. if you haven't been yet. Now, Tuesday night turn up was also this past week. Tuesday night, last night, we had a special Valentine's Day edition because you guys know it's Valentine's Day. Which, by the way, if you're in a relationship or you're not, it doesn't matter because everybody needs some self-love. All right. And that's what I call Valentine's Day, self-love day. So just give yourself some love, do something that you want to do, buy yourself something that you don't usually buy, eat something that you don't usually eat, So that's why I encourage people to do every Valentine's Day because it's self-love day. But, we did this Tuesday night turn up, Valentine's Day edition, and it was a huge blast. Shout out to Blue, by the way, for decorating this amazing club. And shout out to DJ Haywire, the legendary DJ Haywire. I mean, he goes on tour in Europe, you guys. I mean, he stopped just to come and spin for us at Tuesday Night Turn Up. So big, big shout out to the one and only DJ Haywire. Absolutely. Now, on one more separate note, after all this happened, I ended up in a world, it was a karaoke world. Shout out to my man Elsker. He built some phenomenal worlds. But, when I popped in there and I saw some of these MREs, I'm like, I got to just give a shout out to Elsker and like all the MRE creators in here who are doing like an honest job with creating their MREs, but who are also creating MREs that help us do things like events, have fun at parties, at karaoke. I mean, this is what made alt space. Like, we're not going to get this anywhere else. And so I just think that they deserve some recognition for the work that they do. We think of builders as world builders, but we don't pay attention so much to the MRE makers and the kit makers, right? Because even their jobs is hard, and we got to give them some recognition because they do an amazing job. So shout out to Elsker. I love the MREs that he had, and I know there's other people out there who's got some great MREs, Fire Charge, some other great people out there doing a great job. So keep it up, you guys. Now, today we've got a great show for you guys. We've got the one and only Dates VR. Shout out to Dates VR. Now, they are based in the UK, you guys. So, fortunately, they could not make it here today in the building, but they will be calling in via Zoom. So, we'll be still having them here. They'll just be videoing us. So, we'll have them in just a second. But before we get to them, we've got to do our daily dish. Now, you guys know I love this part because I get to dive into different things, pop culture, politics, everything in between. So let's go ahead and start off. Now, today, if you guys didn't know, is the day after Valentine's Day, okay? Which I like to call the day that CVS puts out all their Easter candy. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed when you go into a CVS, I mean, the Peeps are out. Y'all know the Peeps, right? This is my favorite candy. Shout out to the Peeps, by the way. They've been around for a long time, and they do not disappoint. And I know some people don't like them, but you cannot hate on the Peeps because they are iconic, okay? They truly are. Easter iconic candy, okay? Now, speaking of the weekend, the Super Bowl also was this weekend. And shout out to Key, by the way. I don't know if Key's not here tonight, but shout out to Key because he hosted this amazing Super Bowl party. And, we went to the stadium here in the metaverse. We watched it. The two teams that played this year were the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, wait, shout out to who watched the Super Bowl, by the way? Anybody in here watched the Super Bowl? Okay, we got a few people. All right, well, for me, I was rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs because anybody who knows me knows when any team beats the 49ers, I take it personal, okay? So screw the Eagles. I was rooting for the Chiefs, all right? I was wearing red that day. Now, and they did end up winning, which congratulations to the Chiefs. But to me, I mean, they're all winners because at the end of the day, you guys, they're all going home and getting laid. So they're all winners, okay? Shout out to all the players for the Super Bowl. Now, you know who the real winner was? It was my girl, Rihanna. Shout out to Rihanna, who came out stunning, did an amazing job at the halftime show. I personally loved it. I thought she did an amazing job. When she first came out, I did notice the small bump, but I didn't want to say anything, to be honest, because, you don't want to ever be that first person to ask somebody if they're pregnant because you don't know if they're actually pregnant or maybe they just stopped at Krispy Kreme on the way to the Super Bowl. So I don't want to judge before I said anything. But, after a while when she was out there and I took a closer look at her outfit and then the way that her belly was out, I mean, y'all be the judge of it, right? I mean, she's pregnant, right? And I know she confirmed it. I mean, you could tell. Did anybody else think that when she came out that she was pregnant? Yeah, me too. No, I definitely thought that she was pregnant. But I was so confused because I thought she just had a baby. So I'm like, okay, so how long has it been? Hey, now I know why they call him ASAP. That's all I got to say, okay? That's all I have to say. Now, if her baby, because, technically Rihanna performing at the Super Bowl being pregnant makes her baby technically the youngest performer to ever perform at the Super Bowl. So hopefully when the baby pops out, she's able to, dance and move like Rihanna, like this girl over here. I got to give a shout to this girl. Hopefully she moves like this. Okay. Yeah. Well, shout out to that little miss right there. Shout out to Rihanna. Hopefully, a little mini Riri like that. I think, our industry definitely needs someone like that, all right? Now, we're going to switch directions a little bit. I don't know if you guys heard, there was some international news that came out. Now, in Malaysia, there were some creepy crawlers in somebody's roof. So, I don't know if y'all saw this video. It's currently going viral on TikTok right now. And, if anybody knows me, they knows how much I just cannot with reptiles, tarantulas, spiders, snakes. I mean, I cannot. So when I saw this video, I mean, I really just cringed. I couldn't. And I just need you guys to watch it with me. Okay, so let's play it back. Let's see what happened.
Pecah. Pecah cepat. Tarik guna dengan tak ada.
Oh no. Listen. Those snakes are so big, I don't know why they're not on the lease. Okay, I mean they should be paying rent. They're so damn big. And I don't know who was living in there, but I'm moving. Okay, that house is for sale. I'm getting the hell out. All right. Now, speaking of snakes, I don't know if y'all heard in the political news, Miss Nikki Haley is now running for president. Now, she is a former Trump. Yeah, exactly. Now, she is a former Trump cabinet member, and she was also the ambassador to the United Nations. And a lot of GOP are calling her the front runner to go up against Trump for the primary. Now, just remember, she was the ambassador to the United Nations during Trump's presidency. So she's responsible for all of Trump's mispronunciations when it comes to foreign words like this. Check it out.
Namaste. Namaste. Chihuahua, a tea seller. Very tough. Pride of Gujarat. As the great religious teacher Swami Vivekanand once said, we will remember it forever.
I think that line right there was the only accurate part of that whole thing. Yes, we will remember this forever, so he knows. All right. Now, one more topic on the list. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Oscar Mayer, their wiener car, which I never knew they had a wienermobile, but they do. Somebody actually stole the catalytic converter to this car, so now it's not operable. So after Oscar Mayer found out, they weren't sure whether to take it to a mechanic, to a butcher, or to a urologist. Okay, and they're just being honest. All right. Now that is it for my daily dish. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now, we have a very, very special guest. Now, like I said earlier, they're not here in the building. They're going to be calling us through video. So make sure you guys turn up your volumes right now to about 4, 5 so you guys can hear them clearly. And ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the iconic group that revolutionized dating in the metaverse. The one, the only, the amazing group, Dates on VR. Give it up for them, y'all. Skipper, Mark, Bird. Let's go. Yes, welcome. We got DatesVR in the building, everybody. We got Chipper in the building. We got Berg in the building. We got Mark in the building. Get those emojis to everybody. Yes. Welcome. That's me. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Happy to have you guys. How you doing?
Hey,
good,
yeah, really good, thank you. Awesome
Yes,
to be
well-
here with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are so excited to have you guys here. We've been following you guys for a really long time now. We're seeing all the amazing things that you guys are doing, not only here in the metaverse, but outside of the metaverse as well. But before we get to all of that, let me just go down the line and do some introductions. So, Jiffer, let's start with you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody? Tell everybody who you are, maybe where you're located in the world.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Jiffer. I'm 1/3 of DatesVR, and I'm currently living in upstate New York. You couldn't tell by my
Yes.
accent, but I'm originally from London.
New York in
yeah.
the building. Yes. Now, Berg, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
So I'm Berg. My real name is Ayla, and I'm currently in South Wales, but have been moving around Wales the past 2 years.
Yes.
No set
Well, we're happy
location.
to have you here. Absolutely. And we've got Mark in the building. Mark, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hey guys, my name's Mark. I am also 1/3 of the DatesVR trio, and I am based in Wales, which is a lovely country within the United Kingdom. Thanks for having us, Sherwin. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm so happy to have you guys here. We're going to get into so many different questions, and actually, I have a fun game planned in a little bit. So we'll get to that in just a moment as well. Now, I'm really interested in learning about how this all started. How did you guys all get together? Who met who first? And who came up with the name DatesVR?
Do you want to take that one? Jennifer?
Yeah, so it was the start of the lockdown, the pandemic, as everyone can relate to. And So we all got our headsets and jumped into virtual reality. For a lot of it, it was our first time in there, so it was an eye-opener. And very quickly, we realized that a lot of people were struggling with feelings of isolation and loneliness because of the lockdown pandemic. So we started connecting, and we all met through VR, and we started doing world hopping and everything. And then one day we were just talking, and we were talking about love and the whole pandemic, and we thought, wouldn't it be cool to create something where we can actually bring people together to make very real connections in the virtual reality. So then we just, it kind of evolved from that, didn't it, really?
Yeah. And it wasn't kind of like, to add on to what Jiffy was saying, it wasn't kind of like premeditated. I think it just came about like naturally, because throughout the pandemic, obviously we met as a trio, became good friends, and then Berg and I, as time progressed, got closer and closer and became an actual couple in real life, in IRL as the term is.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of was like, oh, we need to make somewhere that can help other people potentially make the same connection that we've managed to have. And I was, it was just as simple as, let's do something about dates, dating, dates VR, bam, there it is. And then we just kind of, one step led on to another. There was no kind of like, here's the ultimate goal. It was just kind of like, this is kind of what we want to do. And then the next step revealed itself, and the next step revealed itself. And now it's become what it's become.
I love it. And it's such a great idea because, we see all these dating apps that are out nowadays, like Tinder or Bumble or Hinge, right? But this really puts dating, upside down and on its head, because, you're really able to see people. Well, you're not able to see their, physically, what they look like, but you're able to still connect with them in a way that is so real. I mean, we talk about how real the connections are here in VR, right? I mean, you're talking to somebody and they could be anywhere in the world, and the connection that you create is genuine. So I think it's amazing what you guys are doing here, because it's dating, in the next level, right? So let's show everybody just a quick little video of what you guys do. This is your 1 minute commercial video. We're going to show everybody in the audience. Here we go.
Hey, I'm Yasmin. Nice to meet you.
You too, Yasmin. I'm Ben.
So this is a great way to date.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So where are you based?
Oh, I'm based in South London.
Great. I'm in West London.
Oh, that's ideal.
This is a good question. What are you most grateful for?
Yeah, I agree. I'm grateful for my son.
Oh, cool, you're a dad.
Well, I was really grateful that you recovered. Oh, that's great news. It looks like we both have a lot to be grateful for. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, guys, move on to the next island and meet your next date. Remember, there's always time to talk more at the after party.
Oh, it was great chatting with you. So will I see you at the after party? I'll see you there.
Let's go for coffee this Thursday.
That would be great.
I really enjoyed chatting with you, Yasmin.
Oh, I really enjoyed chatting to you too, Ben.
Are you going to the after party? I really need to know more about your trip to Australia.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I would love to hear more about your scuba diving.
Shall we add each other as friends?
Oh yeah, I'd like that. See you soon.
Oh, hi. This is so much fun.
Yeah, I'm having a really good time too.
Hey there.
Nice to meet you.
And then I actually fell over.
Yes. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for DatesVR. I love that video. And, I think that's a great video because it really puts a visual to everything that you guys are doing right now with DatesVR. Now, one thing I also really love about it is that it kind of resembles, your personal story, right? Mark and Berg, you guys met in the virtual world and then, actually met in real life. So tell me about your personal story. And also, is this very similar to some of the stories that you're hearing today with some of these couples? They're meeting in virtual reality and then it's going a step further where they're meeting in real life. They're having, video chats, coffees. Tell me about that whole situation.
Yeah. I guess, do you want to take that back?
Yeah, absolutely. So it would have been maybe lockdown October 2020. I was just going around Outspace, going around the campsite, and then I came across an avatar wearing a pink hoodie I could hear that he was quite social with the other avatars about. He didn't really know how things worked. He was asking other people how to teleport, how to make portals.
Definitely a noob.
And then, eventually I got chatting to this avatar, and found we had a lot in common. We were spending most nights together. And this went on for about 2 months or so. We were going on virtual dates, and the relationship or the chemistry between us was quite obvious, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can tell a lot about how your conversation flows with someone, and just to add on to what you were saying is like, I think a real key thing was seeing how you were interacting with other avatars and the friendships and relationships that you have with other people is what I found most attractive. And I feel like that's only something you can get in VR, not necessarily on dating apps. Is actually seeing there's a great saying that you can tell a lot about a man by the company he keeps, and I think that is such a there's no truer phrase. If someone is genuinely liked and respected, which Berg was and still is, I just knew that he had great character, and that was enough for me to want to meet you in real life. But sorry, carry on. I cut you off yet again.
I guess at the time you were living in London, which is about 5 hours away from where I live. So after a month and a half or so, we decided, yes, shall we actually meet in real life? So I booked a train ticket, went down to London, and met this guy, and he was exactly the same as he was in Alt Space. Just genuine, nice
and as the lockdown got lifted and reinstated at certain points, which I'm sure it's individual to each person's country, but for us there was moments when it was kind of lifted for a bit and kind of reinstated. You could move, you couldn't move. So there was a moment where I went up to Wales, and shamefully, and I'd never been to Wales before, given how close it is to England. And I went there to come and visit you, and lockdown just kept getting extended, and I ended up staying for a couple of nights, and then a night became a week, and then a week became 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks became a month. And then it came to a point where COVID was like, you could go back to work, and I could go back to London, and I was managing a gym at the time. Then that kind of provoked us to kind of have a serious conversation about what we wanted, and actually I realized
want to stay here.
I actually wanted to stay because everything I wanted was there, and that's what made me dive first into creating DatesVR, because the conversation came a bit before that, didn't it? And then I was at a loose end. I mean, I didn't have work at the I'd left my job, and I was like, right, I'm going to create this place to help other people, and then together we kind of all pitched in, didn't we? And it just over time became what it was.
Wow. And
so it really works.
This is amazing because it's like a story that so many people can relate to who've been through this situation, or people who aspire to be through this situation where they actually meet maybe the love of their life through virtual reality. I think a lot of people aspire to do that, which I think is amazing. What are some of the differences that you notice, dating in the virtual world versus dating maybe on a dating app, like you said? What are some of the differences that you see? Maybe some of the advantages that you have in virtual reality.
Yeah, I've definitely got an answer for that. But if you guys want to say something before I
go for it,
yeah, you go for it.
I would say for me, it's the absolute immersion. So a really good. When I'm using kind of dating applications, I'm kind of sporadic, historically when I've done it, I've sporadically kind of replied to a message haphazardly here and there throughout my day, whether it be waiting for a lift, or while I'm sat on the train going into London or something, whilst dealing with utility bills, scrolling on social media, occasionally checking the dating apps, a few more swiping. It was so haphazard and segmented that it didn't give me the time to really kind of comprehend someone on a decent level, the attention that they deserve to have.
Right.
And then when I was in VR, I was completely immersed in socializing. I can't look at my phone here. It's the only thing that I can do is converse with people that are around me. So for me, that's the fundamental difference, is an undivided attention and intention. In here, this is we're very intent, like we're here for a reason. And it was the same when I was dating in here. It was like, okay, I'm here for a purpose, and that's why I think it's tenfold better and more the future in which we need to go. Yeah.
And also, I think the thing about dating in VR is the fact that you can, when you're getting to know somebody on the early days of a relationship, you can experience things. You can go on completely magical and mysterious first dates, just in any of these wonderful worlds. And that kind of then makes the connection stronger because you're both experiencing the same things at the same time, like you would in the real life if you were physically together, going on a date here, going to a museum, chat show, wherever. So it's these things that connect us and give us a shared experience. I think that's quite beautiful.
Right. You can go to a concert here. You can go to a club here. You can go anywhere here, pretty much.
Or you can watch the Sherwin show.
You can watch the Tonight Show with your date on a date here. The Tonight Show, absolutely. We accept everybody. Now, I love it. This is amazing, and I think your personal story is amazing as well. Now, tell me how does this all work? How does this all come together? Because I know there are some steps that take place, when you're a participant in this program. So tell me, how does DatesVR work? If I were to come to DatesVR, what are some of the steps I have to take? Do I have to sign up ahead of time? Do I register? I know I have to submit a photo, right? Tell me about how that works.
Yeah, go on, Mark.
Yeah, I can take this one if you want. So yeah, basically we do like two types of events. So there's the new friends speed dating, which is every Wednesday at the same time, every week, 9 p.m. GMT, and there's one at 9 p.m. EST, which Jiffer hosts in New York time zone. And basically that's like an opportunity for anyone who's kind of heard of us or potentially interested in us to come in and try and mingle and make new friends using the DatesVR platform in a new friends capacity. So that's regardless of your age, gender, location, orientation. You're just there to make friends. So, sometimes a guy can be partnered up with each other and they get to go through the questions that would be a part of DatesVR, but you're there to kind of just establish a friendship and break down kind of any awkward interaction, that initial meet. And then the fundamental difference between that and the private ones is that the private ones are match based. So it's based off your orientation, your location, your preferred age range, and you are sent a private invite to a closed event with just you and your matches. So, for example, we could have a heterosexual speed dating event. So we invite 7, straight cisgendered females and 8 cisgendered males to the same event. And they know that they're all geolocated roughly in the same area. They are all looking for the same age range as one another. And they get to go through the experience in a really calm and staffed and managed event. And their actual photo is put up behind their avatar so they can see who they're dating. So, yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
I love that. Now, this is just out of curiosity. Tell me what y'all think, because, I've been on a few dates and I can tell you for sure that person was a creep. And I never wanted to see them again. So I don't know if anybody else can relate to that experience. But tell me, what if you do, meet somebody on here? Now, there could be positives, right? You meet somebody that you like. Now, what if you meet somebody that you maybe not necessarily like at all, and you don't want to talk to them again? I mean, is there a way that are you going to end up meeting them again, or is it like once you're done, you don't have to meet them again? Tell me about that, like the rejection process of it all too.
Yeah, well, I think what we like to do, what we always do in all of our events, is we set a very clear tone of mutual respect and just being nice to one another. So we're very hot on keeping an eye on all of that. Everyone who comes into the events knows that, you've got to just be kind, be nice to people, even if somebody's not particularly your type, or if halfway through the date you're like, well, this isn't really clicking for me. It's important for us to just encourage people just to continue with your date, and then after the event people can then go up to each other in an after event can make a connection, then they can continue their conversations on. And thankfully, we've never had any occasions where there's been like a fight breaking out in the corner or somebody has to slap something. It's all very decent, and and that's very important to us, isn't it, to create that?
100%, and that's why like the events themselves are staffed. So like, you know, we would never just like let it be an autonomous thing where people can just come in and do what it is that they want to do. Like there's actually always a mediator there, and like we do patrol it, so like we're walking around making sure that people are conducting themselves in appropriate ways. And in the VT, like the opening video to the event, we say like treat people how you want to be treated, and if you can't, we'll make you leave. So if someone's inappropriate, we boot them out. But in terms of like someone not being attracted to someone, I think there's only so far that we can intervene. Do you know what I mean? We're just kind of enabling this situation. You know, if someone's a creep, lucky. Sorry, go on.
In terms of future events, the beauty of it, the whole event is manned, so they can come up to us confidentially and just tell us, future events. I might not want to be matched up with this person, which we can put on the database and we can go from there.
Yeah, which we actually have done, haven't we? Like if someone says, "Oh, I don't really want to date this person," then we've just put a mark on the database to make sure that they're not invited into the same event space. You know, so there is.
I think that's really important too, because like to your point, like you may just not have that connection. I mean, there may not be anything wrong with that person. There may be a really respectful person still, but they're just not a fit for you or a match for you, right? And I think that's what's amazing about DatesVR is that you guys really care about the matchmaking process, right? Making sure that you're finding two people that actually truly have a genuine connection, right? Not just pairing people up for the fun of it. Let's talk about the venue, because I love the venue. I've seen the venue a couple times now. I think it's really interesting because there's different things on the floor. There's different sayings and different signs. Can you walk me through a little bit about the venue? First of all, who created the world? And tell me, is there a process to the venue? Like when you walk in, you have to stand in a certain area. Tell me about the venue.
Do you want to talk about the first edition, Berg?
Yeah.
So the mishap.
So when we eventually initially thought, we'll make a venue for a dating experience. So three of us got together and we created this world together, which was beautiful. It had all different tropical islands. It had it had a vibe.
It was beyond.
We soon realized that this place was way too complicated, called dating venue, and to man that event. So we came together and decided actually we need a simplistic version of this. This is where mostly yourself that came up with the second venue.
To add on to that, so we created this like super poly intense venue. We had never done a venue before, and we were like, let's put this in, let's use that kit, let's use this kit, and we like literally chucked everything in its dog in there, like, and we would like put the frame rate on. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that as world builders, but to your listeners, basically there's an application, like a toggle that you can press, and it says how hard your headset is struggling to see something. And we were looking around and everything was just sticking and shifting, and it was like jarring and jolting.
Red.
I love it. Well, one thing I love about this venue is that it's very genuine to who you guys are. I mean, when you guys come in, it's very like just meeting the three of you and then knowing now that you guys are the ones who created it with your own kits and everything. It makes total sense because it's just so fun. It's a fun environment when you walk in. The palm trees, it's like you're on vacation, and it's just a really good vibe. I love it. Now, you guys have been acknowledged in a few different areas, right? You've been acknowledged by a lot of different media outlets, but let's start off with, first of all, the New York Post and the Science Times. So you guys were featured in their articles. I'm talking about the future of virtual dating. Talk to me about being acknowledged by these, esteemed articles. Like the New York Post is huge. So I'm sure when you guys heard about that, that was exciting for you.
Yeah, we got contacted. We got direct message, and I had to have like a 20 25-minute call with one of their journalists to explain it all. And that was kind of one of the, well, actually, that was not the first ever run-in we had with the media. I mean, I'm sure you've probably got it queued up, but it was like a few media coverages in, we got reached out by them. And yeah, it was just, it was really surreal. I couldn't believe that I was like, you know, something that we created just out of passion was being covered by something that I think everyone's heard of, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you get
the
a
news
DM from, you know, a big news outlet like this, you're thinking, is this real? Is this the real?
I was
people?
skeptical.
And then,
Yeah.
you know,
at first.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was
But
very,
hey,
very humbling.
it came out.
Yeah.
And then it came out, and then it all became real. And it's still real because you guys are continuing this amazing work, and more media outlets are acknowledging you guys and the work that you're doing. Now, I'm going to play this next video for our audience. Now, you guys were featured on SkyNews, and I know you have a pretty funny story about this, Mark, so we'll get to your story in just a second. But let's show everybody this interview that you did with SkyNews, which is a huge media outlet out in the UK. So let's go ahead and take a look, everybody.
Now then, in the next few minutes, Sky News has a special event getting underway. Big Ideas Live will bring together experts and leaders in science and technology to explore the revolutionary changes that are happening around us and what they might mean for the future. And we're also going to be discussing the internet of the future and whether we might one day all be living in virtual worlds. So joining me now to discuss that a little bit further from the event is Mark Charlton, who's the founder of DatesVR, which provides virtual reality speed dating. So Mark, this sounds fascinating. Give me an idea of how it works. What is it like to date in a virtual world?
I'd say the best analogy is to kind of compare it to reality itself. The laws of physics apply the same as it does in the real world, so it feels no dissimilar to than it does in reality. I met my partner that way. We're now together, engaged, and yeah, it's the next level. It's the best way.
I love it. Now, this is really funny. First of all, Mark, I don't know exactly where you were, but it sounds like you were at some sort of convention because there were people in the background. And I know you have a funny story about this. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody your story about being interviewed with Sky News?
Yeah. I'm not sure how much of the that segment you shown, but like later towards the end of that clip, the guy, basically the cameraman, came up to me and put a microphone on me and was like, okay, you're going to go live in 3 minutes. Like, it was just out of the blue. We had been told that we might have been interviewed, but they didn't necessarily say to what extent. I kind of imagined maybe I'd be talking to a person. But he comes over with this huge camera on his shoulder, puts this phone in my pocket and this tiny little headphone. And then there was clearly some sort of technician on the other side of this headphone, and all I could hear was like, and the guy was like, the cameraman was giving me a thumbs up, going like, "Oh, can you hear him? Can you hear him?" And like this, and I was like, "No." And he was like, "Right, we're going live in 1 minute." And he's like, "Can you hear him?" So I was panicking in my head. I was like, "Don't know. I can't hear what this interview person's going to say." And then, as the camera was there and I was about to go live, there was more people coming with like lighting rigs, and a crowd of people started to come behind. They were all looking at me, and I had to look into a camera and talk as if I was talking to a person. So it was quite overwhelming. And then, so within that thing, I actually didn't hear what she said, and I was just guessing what they said. And luckily, watching it back, it just so happens that I was answering it correctly.
That is amazing. I mean, that is a true professional. And we just showed the audience the beginning clip of it, so they weren't able to see the end of it. But I mean, just to see the beginning of it, I mean, you conducted yourself so professionally. You guys represent DatesVR. I mean, so incredibly. So great job, you guys. I mean, truly amazing job. These are huge accomplishments that you guys are doing, and you guys should be very proud of yourselves. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Now,
Cheers,
along with Sky News, we're going to keep throwing your flowers. You guys also were featured on as well Spotify. You guys had a podcast with who is it again? Luke Franks.
Luke Franks. Yeah.
Yes.
So welcome to the metaverse. Yeah.
Tell us about that podcast.
Yeah. Guys, sorry, do you mind if I take this one again? Because I was the one
Yeah,
who did it.
do.
Sorry, I know I'm
Please do.
talking for all of us, and that is always the case. I can talk for England. So, yeah, basically, Luke and I connected on Instagram, and basically just agreed to get onto the show. And I had this kind of really amazing, like 40, I think, a 50-minute conversation with him just about kind of VR and like where we think it's going and like how DatesVR came about and stuff like this. And he's quite, switched on in the realms of kind of metaverse like stuff. I mean, I'd say he's a probably big representative of the metaverse, like from a UK kind of audience standpoint. Yeah, it was just amazing. Again, it was another one of those moments where it was kind of like, it's only now in retrospect I realized like how big some of the stuff is that we've done. But at the time it was just like, right, just approach it, just talk about what we love doing. And I think, if you're confident in what you love and know what you're doing, then there's, nothing can go wrong. Do you know what I mean? So like it just went really well, and he's a really lovely guy, and he's a really big supporter of us and sees our dream and where we want it to go. Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, and I know you've been also interviewed on a couple of different like business podcasts, right? Like BBC, Wake Up to Money, Business Daily. Tell me why, these business outlets are also reaching out, because you guys have a great business model in place that is really intriguing to them. Is this why that you're featured on these different business outlets as well?
I would imagine so, yeah. So obviously, where this is all going, I think they can foresee the scope of what the metaverse is going to be, and
right.
Eating is obviously a huge part of our lives, whether that be on mobiles or day-to-day life. So I think this is the reason why they've kind of tapped in or requested to speak to us about what it's all about. Because I don't know, like you guys as VR users yourself, and probably the people that watch this show or attend it are VR users or enthusiasts, and I think we can all see like how amazing this is going to eventually be. And I think the bigger it becomes, the more it's going to attract that kind of attention.
Absolutely. And I mean, you guys have attracted some huge attention, because big shout out to DatesVR. You guys were featured on CNN with Lisa Ling. I mean, we all know Lisa Ling. This was a huge interview, and we're going to play a clip of it right now for our audience. But I mean, this is just incredible. So let's just go ahead and play this for our audience. Let's check it out.
Please move on to the next station by following the arrow.
Once a week in a tropical dreamland called DatesVR, real people sign in to look for love. Gay, straight, 18 to 80-year-olds.
Seafood, by far. What about you?
Seafood, like crab.
It's an experimental way to meet a partner, and to be honest, it seemed like a gimmick at first.
Hi, I'm Fruit Twist.
But it turns out two of its hosts, Mark and Ayler, actually met and fell in love in VR. You met in a virtual world, right?
Yes. Yeah. And we just got along really well.
Yes. Well, that is incredible. I mean, if you guys want to check out the full episode, it's on YouTube. This is Life with Lisa Ling. I really recommend to everybody to go check it out, because she does some really great interviews in that episode. But I mean, the spotlight that she put on you guys was absolutely phenomenal. Tell me about this whole process with working with CNN. I mean, huge media outlet, not just here in the US, but in the world. Everybody knows CNN. So tell me about that.
We were blessed to be approached by the CNN. I remember exactly the time the email came through from CNN. I was working a night shift at the time, and we got an email at midnight asking if we would feature in this documentary that they were doing. I immediately texted you, didn't I? And it was
which is the worst thing you could have done. I was literally just about to get into bed. I was like, right, done for the day, gonna go to sleep, gonna relax, and then you send me that through. Yeah, gone.
But to start off, we weren't sure as to what they wanted out of us, how much they would show of a DatesVR. I know they focused a bit about how we met in VR. And the whole experience was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was the first ever media outlet to reach out to us, and it was the biggest.
wow.
So that's
really
what I'm saying
was.
is like, yeah, back to the original point. They messaged us, and they said like, "Oh, we love what you're doing," and we had this interview with them, and I was kind of like really kind of blown away that, you know, shout out to Jackie Baskin. Actually, she was the producer on that, and she clocked us before anyone did, and they shot that episode a year before it aired in November just gone, and then the next kind of media outlet didn't like get to us like way like 8 months after they had clocked us. Do you know what I mean? So CNN's research team, you know, are on it. They know what they're doing, you know, because they found us before anyone. Yeah. And then their coverage didn't come out until a year after they had shot it with us. So they were way ahead of the curve. Yeah.
That is incredible. I mean, you guys deserve a pat on the back because, I mean, CNN, like you said, a huge media outlet. And let me just ask you, is it like weird when they come into this space and then, because I'm sure they're like new to VR, right? So they don't know how to operate the VR controllers. We've all been there, right? So is a lot of the interview of you guys actually teaching them the controls of like, hey, this is how you move?
Yeah, I felt like an old space representative.
Very much.
That whole process.
Between the three of us, we managed to guide them on how to work the controllers.
It's funny when you first see people coming in and they learn. It brings you right back to when we ever first went in. Right. You're kind of falling off the edge of places, and you come in with all of these things, and it's just part of the fun, isn't it? It's hilarious to watch.
You accidentally press the arm, and 1 minute you're over there, and you lost everyone that you're with.
Exactly. We've all been there. We've all had those moments. It still happens today.
You've been talking for 2 minutes, and no one's replying to you.
Now, tell me about what the future holds for you guys, because you know VR, I mean, is still not going away. You know, all space is going away, but VR is not going away, right? And there's a lot of different platforms that are still available. Tell me about what the future holds for DatesVR. Do you guys have a game plan for where you guys are headed next? What can we expect?
I don't want to reveal too much, but if you guys want to answer that, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So, like a lot of people, there's a big shift happening right now in virtual reality and all the different metaverses. And at the core of our ethos has always been put the people first and make the connections so people can come together. So that's what we loved about Altspace. Like everything in life, things change, and it's how we meet these changes. So we've got a few things in development, which we can't announce just yet. Very exciting, but yeah, at the core, we will always put the people first. And then, so wherever our next steps will always be to support that, I think. So it's very organic. We've got it going on, but it will be revealed soon.
I suppose that's all we can really say, because there has been some exciting movements, but we can't reveal anything yet. But we have been talking to some really exciting people and been approached by some really exciting people. But yeah, I suppose just to second what Jiffa said there, I think ultimately we just want to take care of the people that have loved and supported DatesVR since day dot, and we have got like a real lovely, solid group of supporters, our biggest cheerleaders. So I suppose biggest thing is just like always keeping them updated, letting them know what's happening, like letting them know that like this is not the end of DatesVR, we're in a transition period. And I think everyone that's like the Altspace OGs, as it were, like the people that have been here for ages, and I regard myself as one of those now, and these guys do, like appreciate that we're all going through a really kind of difficult transition, because we're having to leave what I think is essentially home that founded our passions, as it probably was for you, you know, in this show. And it's not a goodbye, it's a growth period, you know what I mean? It's just another hurdle to jump and figure out.
It's a new
Exactly.
beginning for all of
It's
us.
new opportunities, isn't it?
New opportunities, new beginnings, and we're all going to be following DatesVR on Instagram and on Discord and keeping up with you guys because we definitely want to see all of your success continue here in the metaverse and beyond. So we're so proud of you. Thank you guys again for coming out and speaking with me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. All the way from the UK. I know it's really, really late for you guys, but I appreciate it. Now, before we let you guys go, we got to play a fun game here at the Tonight Show. We couldn't let you guys go without a fun game. So we're going to introduce a new game that we like to call What's Your Love Language? Or What's My Language, I should say, yes. Now, the way this game is going to work is we are going to reveal some statements, some different scenarios that you might be in if you go on a date or if you're on a date with somebody. Now, I want to hear from you guys what you would do in those situations, okay? How would you react? What would you say? What would you do? All right. So we're going to find out how you guys would react to each one of these scenarios. All right. And we'll go down the line and get some opinions from all you guys. So we're going to start off with the first one. The first one is: your partner keeps forgetting their wallet at home for date night. So how are you going to react? Because I know that's a big no for some people.
Wow. Well, for me, you don't actually need your wallet nowadays, do you? You just need your phone. So, there you go.
You got that Apple Pay.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, got that contactless. We're all good.
What about that?
You can't pull the wool over his eyes.
What about you guys, Mark, Jiffer? Any thoughts?
Jiffer, what about you?
I mean, I'm very generous anyway. So the first few times I'll be like, honestly, don't worry about it. Third, fourth time, maybe I'll go to the restroom and then climb out the window before Bill comes, and that'll be me done.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. For well, the thing is, we've been together so long now that we just always spend on each other's cards, and just kind of like money just kind of comes out. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't really matter whose money is coming out of who.
Out.
I do admit that I probably spend on your card more than I spend on mine, though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Y'all hear? Okay. All right, bro. You might need to deal with something later after the show today.
Wow.
Your finances get an accountant. I love it. All right, y'all. We're going to our second question. All right, here we go. Here's your second question. Your partner wants you to give them your phone password because maybe they don't know what you're doing on your phone, who you've been texting, what pictures you've been sending. How y'all react? Do you want to give up your phone password, or is it a fight to the end?
That's
I
a
would like
tough
to answer
one.
that one first.
Yes, please.
So I get why that could be complicated for people. Like, it is about kind of showing respect and boundaries and things like this. But to be honest, we use each other's phone all the time, don't we? Like, I've got nothing to hide. Like, anything that's going on my phone, like, you know, he probably knows about, or if he saw it, I wouldn't be bothered. And I'm assuming it's the same for you. Like, we've never had, unless you're going to tell me something different now on this show.
No, not at all. In our relationship, we share everything, so nothing is a secret, really.
But having said that, if you've been together for a period of time and they're a bit weird about you going on their phone, then I think that's an alarm bell. Like say for example, if I went, oh, let me take your phone, I just need to quickly look something up, and they get a bit sheepish about it. To me, I think there's something to hide there potentially, because if you have nothing to hide in your phone, then it shouldn't be a problem. You know, like, you should be open enough for a new relationship. Looking at each other's phone isn't a problem. But then again, saying that, just to add on, if I'm going to look on their phone to try and find a problem, then I think that's a problem in itself as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not really concerned about my texting or who I'm texting. I just don't want them to look through my Amazon shopping cart because they don't need to know what I'm buying. That's my concern. Now, we're going to get to our next question. All right, here we go. Here's the third one. All right. Your partner wants you to be more romantic. All right. So your partner comes up to you, says, hey, babe, I just wanted you to be more romantic with me. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go out and buy them some flowers, bring home some chocolate? I know it's Valentine's Day this week, so a lot of people are in that mood with the flowers and the chocolates and the teddy bears. What do you guys do to make it more romantic? A nice dinner.
Ooh. Well, what I would do is rather than taking them out for dinner, I would wait till they got home, and then I would have a picnic in the living room. So I'd put the blanket on there, have a little bit of some bubbles, some sweet food, and put on some nice music, and just have a picnic in the house.
I love that.
I love that.
I guess that's romantic. I don't know.
Yeah,
romantic or sad, I don't know.
You're a romantic, Jiffer. I love it.
I love that. Well, how about you guys?
What about you? Go on.
I can't say what I'm going to do for next week, but things I've done in the past is post-it notes around the house that leads you from one room to another, and then eventually you find your gift potentially. It's all about spending much money, but just thoughtful gifts, things that you've maybe made yourself, or it has much more meaning to it than
thoughtful things, like knowing like that they're going to like see a note somewhere, or like just hiding something in their bag without them notice. Like I know that you love Maltesers, and I've put Maltesers in his work bag without him knowing. You know what I mean? And then he's like,
it's the little things.
Maltesers.
So
definitely the massage is always nice, isn't it? So
yes,
massage.
Guys, we take massages 24/7, 365 days a year. All right. Now, all right. Here's the next question. All right. Now, this is a question that comes up a lot for a lot of couples, especially married couples. Your partner wants kids, but you don't. So how do you go about navigating that conversation? Because that's something that's pretty hard to compromise on, because that's something that could make or break a relationship. Somebody wants kids, somebody else doesn't. So how do you guys handle those kinds of situations, or would tell somebody who's in that situation how they should handle it?
It's all about communication. Both sides need to communicate, explain why, or the reasons why they would want kids or not have kids. If you don't have that communication, it's not going to work. Luckily for us, from the get-go, we both definitely want kids in the future. And
I think that's the key point that you mentioned there. It's like from the get-go, as in like if you are entering into a relationship with someone, like I think it's clear from the beginning you need to express your desire to not want kids if you don't want kids. I think if you want kids, you don't necessarily have to expressly say that from straight away, because you might frighten your partner off. But if you don't want them, then I think that can be said in a passing comment whilst you're dating, that like, oh yeah, kids are not really for me. So then you're not leading them down a path of being a year into a relationship, and then that they have invested that energy, time and effort and potentially wanted kids out of it, to then find out that that person didn't want it from the offset. So I think be clear from it from the beginning. If you don't want them, then I think you need to say that pretty soonish. That would be my advice. Yeah,
that's great advice. And Jeffrey, you seem like you agree there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I have actually been in that position before a couple of times actually, because I've always wanted kids. So that has been a very important thing in my life growing up. And I've had relationships in the past where the time has been right, and I've kind of brought the subject up, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I do want kids as well, yeah. And then so you're a bit patient, invest more time in the relationship, and then they turn around and say, well, actually, I don't really want kids. So it kind of leaves you up in the air. So exactly what you were saying, it's communication, just open, honest from the offset. Yeah. Because why mess around? Just
and I will say this for sorry, I know you will. You're running on a schedule, but like in gay culture, for gay men in particular, I think a lot of gay men like the idea of having a family without actually really thinking about it, what that actually means for them, and when the like comes to it, then they get the cold feet. Like they've just thought, oh yeah, I'd love to have kids. Yeah, I'm a gay man. I could have kids. Why not? Sure. Yeah, let's do it. And then actually not meaning what they say to then later down the line actually get to that point and realize that actually, oh no, God, I love my freedom. I love my life. And I think that's probably more common in gay culture. Wouldn't you say? I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree too. And I think, you have to think about the cost, right? I mean, if you want to go the surrogacy route or the adoption route, nothing is easy and nothing is done overnight. Everything is a long process that you have to apply for. And also it's very expensive. And some people just don't want to go through those processes, right? So it's not that they're not made to have kids. They might be a great parent. They might have great interactions with kids, but maybe they're just not ready at that time, right, to have kids. And I think that's really important to acknowledge in the relationship, like you guys are saying. So I love it. All right. Well, we got one more question for you guys, and I'm really interested in hearing your opinion on this one. Valentine's Day is coming up. Now, a lot of y'all want to spice some stuff up in the bedroom, right? So your partner wants you to spice up the bedroom. So what are you doing for Valentine's Day to spice up the bedroom?
Get some cayenne pepper.
Well,
I'll let you answer this one. Go on.
Go on, boy. Shy answer this one.
Guys, I'm happy to answer
Come on,
it, but I
Mark,
realize
some rose petals.
go for it.
Make a nice bubble bath. What's going on?
I think, right, if you can't be open with your partner about what you like and what you don't like, then I think that is also a problem in itself as well. If you can't truly express your desires with one another, that's always going to be an unkept and unfulfilled feeling that's just going to manifest as a problem later down the line. So it's like, as in maybe kind of keeping secrets behind your partner's back because you want to express something later. Like, I'm not saying that that's the case for everyone, but I feel like having truly open communications in a bedroom dynamic with your partner, I think is so important, and exploring each other's picks, and actually doing something for the other person because you want to see them enjoy their time. You
gotta know how to satisfy. That's one of the main goals. Jennifer, Berg, what do you guys think over there? Any ideas that you've done to throw in to spice up the bedroom? Maybe a nice bottle of champagne.
Well, champagne always helps. Massages. To go on a massage course together, actually, I think is really nice, really romantic, and you kind of get to know your partner on a whole other level, and plus it helps to get rid of all the knots in your back.
There's cheaper massages when you need them.
Win.
Actually booking a night somewhere away from your house, from your home, a nice hotel somewhere where both of us are completely relaxed. There's no pressure, and room service.
Room service,
and stay away from technology. I found that because my life is so immersed in technology, whether it's my phone, my computer, my VR headset, I can be so distracted and sometimes really struggle with presence. Sometimes is actually spending time together and leaving the phone at home, or leaving all your technology. It's okay. You can leave it alone for 4 hours. It will still be there when you come back. Those messages will still be on the phone. You can still follow up that phone call. But I feel like, I think throughout lockdown, just being excessively using technology can actually really detract from your relationship, and when being intentional and putting it away actually really helps spice things up.
Yes, absolutely. Just make sure that you turn off your Oculus when you're getting frisky, because we do not want to walk in on you guys, in all space with your microphones unmuted. Come on, we don't want any images around here. So make sure y'all get it together out here, all right? I really, really appreciate it, you guys. Let's get one more round of emojis for DatesVR playing this game, everybody. It is an incredible job. Thank you guys for answering those questions. Yes, and you guys are so funny, might I just add. You guys are hilarious. Now, the energy you guys give off is amazing. Now, before we let you go, all right, and I do appreciate you guys again for the third time, coming out here and spending time with me and just talking to me about your accomplishments. I'm very, very humbled by that. So thank you so much. Now, before I let you guys go, what is the last piece of advice or maybe a last message that you have for our audience tonight? And we'll go down the line and we'll start maybe on this side first. We'll start with Jiffer and then Berg, and then we'll go to Mark.
Oh, I mean, I would say my piece of advice is for anybody out there who is so desperate to meet someone and be in a relationship, it can be quite lonely. Just to kind of spend time with yourself and love yourself first, because as somebody says, how are you going to love somebody else if you can't love yourself? So my advice is love yourselves, really, and then love will come to you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Second that, definitely. Yeah.
For me, it's two things. Be kind, because kindness goes a long, long way, and be yourself, and that's it.
Yes, nice.
I think mine will be an extension on what Jiffer said, because I couldn't believe, I believe that in so much. And I will just say, before I met Berg, I was probably in one of the most darkest places in my life. I was in London at the time. I'd lost my job. I had lost my home. The landlady that I was having the house from, was selling the house, so I had to leave the house, and everything I knew was completely shaken. And I really felt lost for a period of time, and I was really kind of struggling emotionally, within myself. But the one thing that I did was made sure I ate right, and I made sure I slept, and I made sure I exercised, and all those negative emotions or uncertainty of what my future had for me, I channeled it all into kind of really strong self-care. And actually that really kind of got me through, because I was taking care of myself, and that's ultimately all I had at that time. I'd lost my home, and my place in London. My friends were moving away, and just the foundations of wellness were being challenged. But I just kind of internalized all those negative feelings into self-care, and everything that I then wanted for myself came true. So I know that sounds so cliche, but it's work on you first, make yourself enough for you, and everything else will follow.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for DatesVR.
No.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you
you
guys
so much.
Jiffer, you got Berg,
Yay.
you got Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, give up one more time your emojis, these incredible people. Thank you guys again for coming out. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful time. Thank you guys for calling from the UK. And we'll see you guys next time. See you. DatesVR, you guys. Instagram, Discord. Check them out. See you guys next time.
All done. Oh, the trick is a heavy music
Yes. Give it up for DatesVR, everybody. Give it up one more time. That's me. Yes. Well, shout out to DatesVR, everybody. What an amazing show. I know it's late for them. It's 5 a.m, but we appreciate them, coming in and talking to us tonight, talking to our audience and everybody. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. DJ Vad, what did you think? You've been sitting there. Do you have any closing thoughts of tonight?
I have actually a little bit of few things going on in my head. First of all, shout out to DatesVR. They're just amazing people. I've been to their events a few times, and they had friends dating that I found, actually some really cool people that I could hang out with and all that stuff. And it was just amazing guys. I have talked to all of them and met them a few times and hung out world hopping and everything. So great guys. I'm so happy for what they're doing, and I'm so proud of them for sure. One thing I wanted to share with everyone, I was listening to these guys, and kudos, truly amazing characters, truly amazing people. I think they said is no self-love. It reminded me of what they say on airplane. You got to put your own mask on first. There's a reason for that. You got to take care of yourself. You're not taking care of yourself. guess what? Nobody's gonna get that good vibe out of you, so nobody's gonna be attracted to you. I'm no lover or anything. I'm just telling you logically what I think. And ultimately, in a world that you can, this is my favorite quote actually. In a world that you can be anything, choose to be kind. Enjoy. Have fun. Love will come to you. How about you?
I
I'd like to
love
hear your
that.
thoughts, Sherwin.
That's amazing. You kind of stole some of them. I will say that. While I was sitting
Oh,
here
I'm
thinking,
sorry.
I was like, he's reading my mind. But
Yeah.
let me just say this. First of all, I just a little teaser, y'all, because you know I like to give a little sneak peek. I can't talk about it too much, but today, actually in the morning, I participated in a little project with DatesVR. They're going to be recognized on another major platform, and so they actually asked me to be a part of it. And so I got to see the DatesVR experience take place this morning, and it was my first time. I didn't know what that was the most important thing that I took away from what they were saying is, even though it's called Dates VR, a lot of us could just use a friend, somebody to talk to, somebody just to have a genuine connection with. And that's what Dates VR is providing. They're not just providing maybe your soulmate. I mean, hey, we don't know if our soulmate is in VR or maybe across the street or in a different country. We'll never know until fate, right? But one thing I love is that you can never say no to friends. You can never say no to new opportunities, right? Trying new things. I mean, these are all parts of dating that, sometimes make us uncomfortable, but we have to put ourselves out there. And to your point, I love the self-love aspect, and we were just talking about this at the beginning, right? Valentine's Day. Hey, it's perfect week that we had Dates VR on because it's Valentine's Day as well yesterday. And I just keep saying to everybody, you can't love anybody until you love yourself. You need to love yourself. Put your best foot forward before you try to take on anybody else's baggage. Because let me tell you something. As soon as you start dating someone, you're not just dating them, but you're dating everything that person's gone through, their feelings, right? It's not just what you think that person is, but all the baggage that comes with them. You're also taking that on. So if you're not mentally ready, then you shouldn't be committed to something like that. But don't say no to new opportunities. Make sure you work on yourself. Give yourself some self-love from time to time. Give yourself a pat on the back. Say you love yourself. Call your loved ones, your friends who you haven't called in a while. I mean, it's time, to do that. So hope you all took away something from tonight. Thank you guys again for joining me. Now, next week, we have another very special guest. I don't know if y'all have seen him in the metaverse, but the one and only DJ Epps is going to be in the building here next Wednesday at 10 p.m. He's worked with people like Pitbull, Tory Lanez, LL Cool J. So we're going to talk to him about some of his work. So I'm really excited. But other than that, I just want to say thank you guys again. Thank you to everybody who helps out day in and day out. DJ Vad, Soul G, Black Sage, Blue Moon, City Girl, Aussie Guy, Stover for this amazing world. I'm so blessed. We've got several more shows. Actually, we've got 2 more shows. We've got DJ Epps, and then we've got a special guest who we'll announce next week who our following guest is, and then that's it. And then we're going to VR chat, people. So stay tuned. We're going to have a really interesting journey ahead of us, but we're going to get through it together, and I'm excited. So thank you guys again for standing with me and being here tonight. And I love you all. Appreciate you guys. Have a fabulous week. Mwah. See you guys next time.
That's me.